Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Rajiv, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, this is Austin Drum from Taipei, Taiwan.
Hi, Austin. How are you?
Yeah, fine. It's okay. So today, Rajiv, could you first introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm a telecom professional here. I graduated sometime in 1999, and after that I worked for some various companies out here. So my last company that I worked for was Lucid, and then after that I started off on my own. And for the past 2 years, I've been trying to do this Sedna Wireless thing. As part
Okay.
of Sedna Wireless, we released Callgraph.
Okay. So, the reason that I know your company said wireless is because this product called CodeGraph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's if I said it correctly, it's kind of like a Skype recorder. It's like a plug-in for Skype, right?
Yes, it is a call recording application for Skype. It works in the background, and it records all your calls into an MP3 file, and then you can then play it back. You can search through your call records. It's basically meant for it's a productivity application. Somebody who would like to have records of his calls, he can use our software.
Yes, and the reason that I found it interesting is that I'm not sure if you're aware of this fact that your software called Graph seems to be the only one that can be used for free and with the functionality of stereo. What I mean is that your software CodeGraph could record the conversation into separate audio tracks. So that would be a perfect choice for podcast because we most of the time we'll bump into the situation that the two people have different volume, so it will be very
Mhm.
hard to do the modification when you do the post production.
Right, that's true. We record it in separate tracks, and which makes it very easy to edit the file. Actually, you can use any external audio editor. For example, Audacity is a very good audio editor, and you can export the tracks separately. Plus, there is also a feature in which you can record the calls in a WAV file. So, if you do record the calls in a WAV file, then you don't lose any quality. The quality is maintained of the call.
Yes, uh, so so I think uh, uh, frankly there are other software in the market that provide the same functionality of separate tracks, but they all require a little bit registration fee. So it's a very outstanding point from my point of view.
Yes. Yeah, great that you like Callgraph.
Yeah, so I think you should emphasize this point that I actually spent uh, several days to search through the internet about Skype recording solution, and and I was very surprised that Callgraph was not mentioned very much. It only has maybe 50,000 Google hits compared to other software, maybe several million hits.
One of the reason is that we released it recently. It's around just 2 months old, and it got covered by a few popular weblogs, few popular blogs. For example, Lifehacker covered us, and Download Squad covered us. But I guess it takes some time to spread through the Google's network.
Yeah, so you never thought of spamming those blogs?
We are not doing any advertising. So if people, it's mostly through word of mouth. We are not, we don't have any ways or means of doing advertising. So that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, after I found your software, I have that kind of temptation to leave on all the blogs that open their comments. So say that you should check out CodeGraph, and I'm not from CodeGraph.
Well, you are welcome to do it actually if you like it. The other reason that we are not really promoting it is it's in the beta stage right now. So there are a few issues with it, and that's why we release a lot of updates as well. But hopefully it will go out of beta in another month or so.
Yeah, actually, frankly, it did crash once on my laptop.
Yeah, actually, if you click the OK box after the crash, then we get a report of it, and we sit and debug it and figure out where the problem is.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not the only product of your startup company, right?
Right. We have other product actually that is targeted towards small. That it's targeted towards OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. It's something like a personal B2B UA. It's to explain it in layman terms. It would be it's an interoperable VoIP client. So you can talk to Skype, you can talk to Google Talk, you can talk to Yahoo Messenger, or you can talk to any SIP server using that particular using our solution.
Wait, can you say that again? So the solution you are talking about now is that thin phone? No.
That is ThinPhone. The product name is ThinPhone. It was originally meant to be a Wi-Fi phone with our software on it. But now what we have done is we are trying to market the software separately. The software is basically it consists of a server and a client. The server sits on your PC or on the internet, and the client gives you access to all kinds of VoIP services. So the VoIP services could be anything, proprietary services like Skype, or open services like SIP, or Jabber and XMPP and all those protocols. So it kind of one client gives you all kinds of services.
Okay, but may I ask? It sounds like Asterisk or Trixbox to me.
The difference is Asterisk will not. You won't be able to call from Asterisk to Skype, right? Unless you have Skype in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
You won't be able to call your friend who is online on Google Talk from it, correct?
Yeah, so it doesn't hook up to Skype, doesn't hook up to Google Talk. I mean Asterisk. But your solution, you can provide these functionalities.
That's right. That's the interoperable part of it. So it basically was targeted towards Wi-Fi phone manufacturers, because nowadays you see so many Wi-Fi phones out there, and all those Wi-Fi phones they give you SIP capability. You can set up you have to buy a SIP account, and then you set up your own set it up on your Wi-Fi phone and use it. So we thought of introducing this interoperable plan so that you can actually talk to proprietary systems as well.
Okay. So are you still going to have a hardware attached to your software?
Well, right now, no. The current plans, we are trying to concentrate more on our software side, but maybe in the future we might go back and do our own hardware. It all depends upon our funding situation, actually, to be frank. So that's the problem.
Okay. Because I'm not sure if about the how I think you know that Taiwan is very very strong in this kind of OEM ODM manufacturing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, we had couple of partners who were in Taiwan. We were working with them for our hardware. The idea was to actually sell the software to them.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good idea that you could be the core of their hardware. Put your software on it, right?
Yes, that was the thought behind the whole concept. So we are still trying to market it, but we haven't got any orders yet.
Okay. So I already checked a few blog entries of you, and I noticed that you are heavily involved in the free software or open source software. So could you comment about this part that you already mentioned to me offline that you are not releasing anything using open source license, but I assume that your company might use open source to maybe open source software to generate some other stuff, right? Hello?
Yeah, well, I'm a very big fan of open source. I follow open source quite a lot, and I've dabbled with Linux. I've dabbled with various VoIP softwares that are available under open source license. Actually, I'm a very big supporter of open source, and I think open source is really changing the whole software industry as of now, because if you look at how the prices, how difficult it is to make an enterprise grade software. If you look at the barriers to entry, right, open source software has really brought it down. So for us, for a startup like us, it makes
Yes.
much more sense to go for an open source solution. Actually, suppose for our hardware we needed to put an RTOS there, so the real time OS part. So we just, without thinking, we chose Linux because it doesn't have any cost associated with it. I can control the source. I have the source with me, so I can modify
Yes.
it the way I like it. So open source is really, at this point of time, is changing the whole dynamics of software industry. If you look at it.
Yes. But you, like I mentioned offline, that you and I are both from the telecommunications industry. So you work for, I think you work for Tata Consulting Service before. Then you work for Lucent, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I worked for Agilent Taiwan for almost 7 years, and my focus is on telecommunication too. So my feeling is that most of the telecom industry, most of the people are not that familiar or enthusiastic about open source, and so it's not that easy to find another guy here in Taiwan and also in the telecommunication industry and also very enthusiastic about open source. How is the situation in India, in Bangalore?
hmm well, open source community is very active in Bangalore. Actually, there are lots of meetups happening. There are lots of mailing lists. There are lots of groups. But you're correct about the penetration of open source in enterprises. So, especially in telecom industry, open source has not really taken a very big foothold, but it's beginning to happen now. For example, you would find just because of the popularity of Linux on servers, right?
Yes.
Just because of its performance, it's just because of its proven
Price.
field value,
Yeah. Yeah.
its stability and everything. You would see that a lot of boxes which run telecom hardware, right? They run on Linux.
Yeah.
So
That's
is
a big
happening.
change.
Yeah, that's true. And if you think about it, VxWorks, right? VxWorks is the most popular operating system in the telecom industry. Almost like
Yeah.
everyone in the embedded systems field use VxWorks. And now VxWorks itself has a Linux distribution, and that Linux distribution is being marketed as a more robust solution than VxWorks own OS.
Yeah, I think VxWorks used
So
to be
it's
the de facto on those telecom network equipments, right?
it is still actually you go to any if you look at the legacy switches that are out there, right? They all run on VxWorks. There are systems which run on PSOS, which are already out there and in the field. But the newer generation systems, right, the 3G systems, the WiMAX systems, the 4G systems, they are all based on Linux. They are all based on these proprietary distributions. Actually, you have Monta Vista, who is a very popular Linux distributor for
Yes,
embedded
Monta
devices.
Vista. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
they
think
kind
I
of
think
rule
I
the.
sorry. I think I experienced that change when I was in Agilent because the older version of hardware they use VxWorks, but like you mentioned, the newer version they use Monta Vista carrier grade Linux.
Mm. Yes, and there are IBM is coming up with another Linux flavor. Actually, there is a effort going on which is called CE Linux, which is for consumer electronics Linux. So they want to certify an distribution of OS which can be used on consumer electronics. So there are several efforts like this. So it's from the network side, it's coming on your device side as well.
Yeah. So actually, the adoption, I think I can see the adoption is just not that fast.
Yeah, it will take time because in telecom, as you would know, right, there are so many legacy systems out there, and nobody wants to spend money to just replace all the boxes. That's too expensive, right? So they are generally
Yeah.
phased out, and then new boxes are put, and then the new boxes actually have newer software and upgrade capability. So it will take its own sweet time, but thing is, you see, it's still Linux is open source is having an impact there as well.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you use Linux as your development environment, right?
Yeah, for our hardware that we were doing, we actually used a ARM Linux port for our device.
Okay, that's so the I think that ARM is the CPU, right?
Yes, and ARM Linux actually supports various kinds of CPUs, CPU architectures. So there is a specific port for Linux on ARM devices. So, for example, Monta Vista Linux, it is based on that port. So we were using one of the ARM Linux ports.
Yeah, but I'm more of a MIS guy, so I only heard of
Mhm.
those stuff. Never actually moved away from the Intel x86 architecture.
Yes,
but
it's
I do
still
have
actually for the upcoming WiMAX standards, right?
yes.
Intel has been pushing their IXP devices, so you will see a lot of things on IXP now.
Yeah, it's but I do own this kind of devices. For example, my cell phone is Motorola E6. I think that platform is called EasyX. So they have
Yes,
they have a project called Open EasyX.
right. Even there is a series of Motorola phones which are completely based on Linux. So it's not marketed in US. It's marketed mostly in Southeast Asia. So
Yes.
if you have heard of the Ning phone, Ning was also based on Linux. They all use the Monta
Yeah.
Vista distribution.
Yeah. So I when I was in Azure, I tell my colleague that see the server is running Monta Vista carrier grade Linux, and my cell phone is running Monta Vista consumer grade consumer edition Linux.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Even for CallGraph, we are planning to release a Linux port. It will be out in the next month. By next month, it should be out.
you sure? I saw that I think I saw that mentioned in the FAQ that you said you were working on it.
Yes, we have almost done most of the work has been done. So we have to put some finishing touches on it and test it and release it.
So how are you going to handle the different version of Linux, different distros?
It's not very difficult actually. You have there are different packaging solutions on Linux. So, for example, the Debian-based systems, they use the Deb package manager. That's
Yes.
the packaging system they are used. For
Yes.
Red Hat derivatives, they use the
RPM.
RPM system.
Yes.
Yeah. So for Gentoo, there is emerge. So
Yeah.
it's easy to do actually. You can generate all these packages without much trouble.
Yes, but since you mentioned Gen 2, I think Gen 2 is more of a source-based distro. So most of the stuff will be compiled locally. So how are you
Uh,
going to protect a part of your own intellectual property? Are you going to release some kind of .o file?
the plan right now is to actually package the binaries into Gentoo. It's possible to.
Okay.
It's even though it's a source-based release, it's a source-based package manager. You can still release binaries using emerge. So that is the plan.
Okay.
But we are also
Okay.
considering open sourcing our product because our monetization strategy for this call graph is we are planning to, as I told you, right, we are planning to release a call record management solution around call graph. So once that goes out of beta, we are launching the private beta of the management service this weekend, 17th. So it will take 2 or 3 months to stabilize, and then we might consider open sourcing our client as well.
Wow, that would be too good to be true for me.
Yeah. Open source gives you several advantages actually if you think about it, because now when it reaches a very stable stage, right? And given the so many different distributions and so many different kind of systems out there today, the community can help you in making ports of it, making testing it out, and do various kinds of stuff.
Yes, I do agree with you, and I think in some industries you can sell services to customers. So it's much easier to go with completely open source. But I think your software, this kind of Skype recorder, is more like traditionally it's more like a shrink wrap software. You bought it and you installed it, and it's so easy that you don't have to configure anything. this kind of software,
Yes.
frankly, even me, I don't know how to make money from it. And if you are going to open source it, then you got nothing.
Our monetization strategy is not based on the client. Our monetization strategy is to release the web service around it. Actually, the idea behind all this is we have developed this technology where you can search through audio files, search through voice audio files. So what we do is in the web service that we have released, right, we do some call mining of your records. So whatever records that you upload there, we do keyword mining of them, and then we index them. So searching becomes very easy for you. So suppose you are trying to locate a call that you made around 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago, and you're having a tough time to find it. Then you can use our service. Actually, it'd be very easy for you to search with our service. So that is our monetization strategy is more like on the server side, not on the client.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I have been tracking different podcasts for maybe several years. Several famous
Exactly.
Linux podcasts like Log Radio or the Linux Action Show or the Linux Link Tech Show. So even myself, I have a hard time to find an old episode. If I want to I want to just find a few sentences that maybe the host or the guest that they mention. It will be a very hard task for me if I want to quote them, say that okay, you just find episode maybe 19 and you can go through maybe the middle part and you can find some they talk about some stuff. It's not very easy to find this kind of information. So you are trying to generate the metadata of audio file, right?
Yes, actually, that's a very it is a tough problem. It hasn't been really cracked till now, but we think that we have come up with a solution where you can at least index your calls properly. So suppose you're looking for a particular phrase which occurred in one call which you recorded some 2-3 months back, then we can help you with that. Actually, our technology can actually pinpoint that and extract that call for you.
So that would be English only, right?
We will support, ultimately we'll support the various major languages. Right now we have databases, it requires a lot of speech to text processing, right? So we have the databases only for English, but the idea is to generate the databases for other languages as well, so that we can apply it to other conversations as well.
Okay, because I think that might require some kind of linguistics knowledge.
We use a speech to text system. Actually, it's called in technical terms it is called speech to text. It is called active speech recognition.
Okay.
So with our active speech recognition engine, right, we can generate those tags. So another service that we will launch, we are planning to launch actually down the line. It will be quite late. It is basically transcription service. So if you are having a call, right, and if you want to have a text transcript of it, something like minutes of the meeting, then we can generate that for you and give it back to you. So that is another monetization strategy for us. We will sell those transcripts. So once you go to our website, you will see a order transcript button, and once you click on it, then we'll generate it and give it back to you.
So I know that there are several text-to-speech engines that are open source. So how about this speech-to-text engine? Is that also open source?
We use an open source engine, but our databases are ours.
Yeah. Sure, sure. So, where are you going to host these audio files? It will be huge.
Well, it will be hosted on our website. Our website is will be integrated again with Amazon's S3 service, so hosting the files wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It's Web 2.0 now, so you can do mashups. So you are using the Amazon. I think I heard that before. Amazon Z3 or something like that, right?
S3. It's called
Sorry.
Amazon S3. It's a simple storage service. So it gives you, it charges you for the amount of storage used and amount of bandwidth that you are consuming there. So it's very cheap.
Yeah. So, like your I think the for example now the callgraph.in, I think that stands for India, right? Callgraph.in
Right.
is, I think it's hosted on US, is using DreamHost, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think you already take advantage of this kind of may I say cloud computing.
Well, not really. This is callgraph.in right now is a very simple site. It only gives you downloads from there. But the web service
Yes.
that we are releasing, that is quite advanced actually. What you can do is you will have the option of uploading a copy of your records directly to our service, right? And it
Yes.
will be built in seamlessly into the client, so you won't even have to you won't have to do much work to upload it. So once you make a call and once you finish it, then maybe after half an hour or something, you will see it on on your website, on our website, and then you can search through it, and then you can play it back from there, and you can share it with your co-workers or friends. Maybe down the line you can make it completely public and embed it in some other website, for example like YouTube style, and you can actually go and search through other people's records and listen to what podcasts or what conversations they were having. All that kind of stuff you can do there.
So would it be possible that I could download I could upload some other audio files like those Linux podcasts that I just mentioned, because they use a more open content license like Creative Commons. So I think I could host a copy of their audio file maybe on your server, and you can do the indexing for me, right? So I could search for certain words that they mention.
Well, right now, the only way you can upload is through our own client. So it has to be on a Skype call, and it has to be
Okay.
uploaded from our own client. So
Okay.
maybe what you can do is actually make a dummy Skype call and play it back from there, and that will get uploaded.
That's not very intuitive yet, but
Yeah,
that's doable.
that's
That's doable.
yeah, yeah. But maybe down the line we will make it available for other call records to be uploaded as well. So not right now. Our focus is right now to integrate it into our client. But
Yes.
maybe in future we will do it.
I think it's a very interesting solution, and I think this solution integrates various parts. So I think it's quite a quite good idea, and could you foresee who will be your customer?
Our target is basically small enterprises and freelancers and podcasters and all. So people who use Skype to do business, to
Yes.
conduct business meetings, and those kinds of people are our main target.
Oh, right. Yeah. That makes sense. And you can actually generate the transcripts, right?
Right.
Have you tested
So
the correct percentage of this kind of computer generated transcripts?
Well, our technology is a combination of human and machine generated transcripts. So what we do is we have optimized this particular process where we take a call record in and then pass it through a ASR system first, and then we sit and proofread it. So this system in this system, the human effort is very low. Human effort is something like 20 to 30%, and the amount of work done by the machine is more. So that is where we save a lot of time, and that is where we can offer cost advantage to our customers.
So there will be real people to do the proofread, right?
Yes, there will be the software which will first generate the transcript, and then there will be real people who sit and proofread it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
again,
I should mention here that we kind of ensure that the confidentiality of the call is maintained. We use some scrambling techniques. So what happens is not one person gets to do the whole transcript, gets to do the whole call, but we divide it up in a random way and give it to 3 or 4 people. So it's more like a very minute, very single sentence being transcribed, being proofread by them. So your confidentiality of the call, it will still be maintained.
Oh, great! You have that part covered.
Yes,
that sounds
this.
good.
We have been working on this technology for some time now, and we feel that it has reached a stage that we can at least try it out in the market.
Okay, yeah, and I think that would be a very, that would be a good solution, because for some kind of legal compliance issue, that they might have to record their conversation between themselves and their customers, even if they are using Skype.
Well, there are various reasons why you would want to record the call. One of the reasons is that you want to have a record of it, right? So some 2-3 months down the line, you can go back and refer to it. So if you have it in text format, right, it's much more easier for you to do that. So in audio format, what happens is you have to locate it, and then you have to play it back, and then you have to reach the actual point where that particular discussion occurred. It takes a lot of time. But text, you can just search. You can just type in some keywords, and it will tell you, okay, this particular phrase occurred in this call at this moment, and you can just go to there and listen to it.
And you can use a little bit money, and you can save the time to write many minutes.
Exactly. So that's the other use of transcription, that you don't have to, during the call, you don't have to sit and write notes. You can just order it online, and after maybe half an hour or 1 hour, you will get a complete text transcript of it.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Okay. For the time constraint, I need to wrap up this interview. So Rajiv, thanks for stopping by. You are the first guest that I interviewed in English.
Okay. Thanks a lot for interviewing me, and hope you have a good experience with Callgraph. Do tell others about it as well.
And I will save the audio and do a little bit post production in my Audacity. Then I'll notify you, and I'll put it on. I think I'll put it on archive.org, like previous episodes. Okay.
Cool. Great.
And I don't have your integrated call record management solution yet, so I have to write the transcripts of just a little bit of this conversation. I have to do the show notes by myself.
Okay, yeah, maybe 6 months, after 6 months you won't have to do that.
Yeah. If I don't have to do the show notes by myself, it will save a lot of time.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks a lot. It was very nice talking to you.
Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Bye.